Yes everybody, welcome back to another video. In this one, we are going to be explaining the biggest reasons people struggle to lose fat on a weight loss journey. And this is coming from a coach that has been doing this for the past 18 months, who has worked with 90 plus people in order for them to lose body fat, who has been able to generate dozens of client testimonials, client results. So let's talk about the biggest reason people actually struggle on a fat loss journey. Okay, so from my experience, from what I have been seeing over the past 18 months and from working with 90 people, is people don't have short-term, mid-term or long-term goals. Okay, they have a rough idea of where they want to go, okay, but they're not 100% sure. So the biggest thing that I install with my clients is understanding that we need a short-term goal. Where are we trying to be in the next 4 weeks? Where are we trying to be in the next 8 weeks? That's our short-term goal. Mentally, where do we want to be? How do we want to be feeling? How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how is our mental health feeling right now? How do we feel when we look in the mirror? Not very good? Okay. Well, you feel like you're a 4 out of 10 right now? Okay, in 4 weeks time, let's be a 6 out of 10. Okay, then a 7 out of 10. Okay, and then an 8 out of 10. We want to progressively overload with that. Okay, but we need to have that short-term goal. Okay, we want to lose 4 kilos in the next 4 weeks. Let's do that. Okay, because if you're 100 kilos, for example, or 100 kilos plus, 120 kilos, and you want to get to 80 kilos, 90 kilos, you want to get there. It can feel so daunting to be stood at the bottom of the mountain, you're looking up at where you want to go, and it just seems so far away. Okay, so we are here. We want to get up here. We cannot be looking at how far that is. We need to be looking, okay, can we get to here? And once we get up to here, can we get to here? And once we get up to here, can we get to here? It is quite simple, but so many people don't do it. So I would set yourself a short-term, a mid-term, and a long-term goal. But Gabe, how does that look? Okay, so obviously we've gone through the short-term goal. Mid-term goal, okay, we want to be 10 kilos down within sort of 4 or 5 months. Okay, maybe even slightly more, 12 to 15 kg, 30 pounds. Can we be that in 4, 5, 6 months? Okay, you're setting that mid-term goal of yourself. Okay, that's what I want you to envision. And then in a year's time, where do you want to be? You want to be 30 kg down. You want your mental health to be a 9 or a 10 out of 10. You want to be feeling on top of the world. You want to look in the mirror and actually finally feel confident in your own skin. And I get that. I've been there. I was once very overweight, and it very much felt very daunting to imagine where I want to be in a year's time, 2 years' time. But it is genuinely just the steps every single day, those baby steps every single day, that you keep walking, you keep making, and then all of a sudden you turn around and you realize how far you actually have come just by making those steps, just by doing those daily inputs, that 1% better every day. That's what I want you to install in your system, into your life, into your system, into your routine. And what I do with my clients is we work on different phases. Now in those phases, we look to make sure that we are trying to get better with 3 things every single day. So that might be for yourself, improving your steps. You want to get better at doing your steps every single day. The next thing that you might want to do is drink more water. The next thing you might want to do is sleep better. And you want to work on those things every single day. And once you have mastered those 3 things, we move on to phase 2. And that's your midterm goal. And once we set those goals for your midterm goal, and we have mastered that, we want to look to achieve your long-term goal. So I really want you to install a vision of yourself, of where you want to go, setting yourself high expectations. You want short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. And essentially, it's going to make you so you're not looking at the top of the mountain. You're actually working your way up there, taking steps by steps. Pardon, mate?
Is that your car?
No.
With the coins around it?
I haven't got a car.
You're about to get fined, bro.
Thank you, man. Nah, all good. Thank you, boys. Have a good day. Oh, sweet guys. Just making sure that my car's not there. But essentially, what I was trying to say, it could be so hard to understand that we want to get to a goal. We're looking at the top of the mountain and it seems so far away. So I would install 3 things that you want to improve on every single day, so that you have a daily input, so that you know you're waking up, and you're doing your daily inputs, okay? So it might sound quite simple, but I promise you, if you actually achieve that, and if you actually do that, and you set your mind to it, you will achieve your results. And I promise you, from working with 90 people in the last like 18 months, I promise you that will work. Now, the final thing I would recommend, in order to achieve this goal, you need to have a weekly weigh-in, okay? Now, it is so cliche and it's probably quite simple, but if you don't do it because it's Christmas or you feel like you might have gained this week, you're only just putting yourself in denial. Oh, I'll step on them next week. No, I hear that so much, and you cannot do that. You cannot let yourself fall into that trap of you don't want to look at the scales. Reality is there. The reality is the scales might have gone up. But if the scales have gone up, what can you do? You can look at it and use that as motivation to be you can put hard work in next month. You look at the scales, they've gone up, cool. Now you put more work in next week to make sure they come down. Not just thinking, they might have gone up. Okay, well, we'll just carry on how we are. No, use that as motivation. And if they've gone down and you're pleasantly surprised and they've gone down, that's going to give you more motivation. Okay, well, we've done really well this week. We've lost weight. Let's strive to do more next week. So you need to do those weigh-ins. You need to do those check-ins. Make sure you're taking photos of your physique every single week. As a minimum, make sure you're doing it every single month. And that's what I'd recommend for you, man. That's what I'd recommend for you guys and girls out there. Make sure you're doing your weekly weigh-ins. Make sure you're doing your daily inputs. And essentially, you will walk. You will do those daily steps. You will do those daily inputs. And you'll look back and see how far you've come. You'll look down the mountain. You'll be stood at the top of the mountain and see how far you've come. Yes, you might have a little way to go, but you'll realise how far you've come. So, a lot of the stuff that I've said today might seem quite simple. It might seem like, okay, Gail, I did know that. But if you don't actually implement it, nothing will change. So, you might have the knowledge, but just actually implement everything I said, and I promise you, you will get the results that you want if you just implement what we've gone over today. So I hope this video was helpful. If you did, drop us a like, drop a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.